An entitled customer calls my manager and lies to them, claiming that I'm a girl from OnlyFans, all because I refused to serve her from the kids menu. Here's what happened. So this happened to me at my last restaurant job about a year ago. It was a small bar and grill type of place, and one of the worst regulars there was this group of teenage girls that would come in at least once a week. These girls were kind of known between all the servers to always get the $6 kids meal, get a ton of free refills on their Shirley Temples, and never tip. I also want to mention our kids meal were only for kids aged 10 and under, and these girls were at least 16 to 18 years old. I've told them this before, and they always act annoyed. The manager and the restaurant owner didn't want to lose their business, so she told me to sell them the kids meal because the restaurant couldn't afford to lose customers, even though she's the one that made this policy in the first place. One day, the girls came in with a group of 10 and ordered a lot of food. Their bill came out to be about $200. Right before they got their food, they decided to move all their stuff to the patio, which we did not have a server for at the time that day. After talking with my manager and the owner, I was told to continue serving them outside because the restaurant wasn't in a position to turn away or lose customers by not giving them exactly what they want. So I continued serving them outside. I ran back and forth between inside and outside. I had to make about 5 trips to the patio just to bring out all of their food. And every time I would come back, they would all collectively be asking for drink refills. And after I brought those refills out, they would then ask for more. They simply did not care. At the end of the meal, their bill comes along. They all say they're going to split the bill, even though when they first came in and I asked them how they would like to pay it, they assured me that they would all pay together. So I hadn't been keeping track of who got what at all. I bring the bill over to them and I go through it with each of the girls. I go print out 10 individual bills, and when I come back, guess what I see? I see 3 girls that are pulling out coins from their wallets. Not even quarters. I'm talking pennies and dimes. They even told me, "Wait, we're almost done." So I ended up standing there and waiting for them to be done. The best part about it is that while I waited, the girls were all laughing amongst each other, being like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna hate us for this," as well as saying stuff like, "We're so sorry. We're trying to get rid of our loose change." They couldn't have possibly known this, of course, but in this restaurant, we had our own server banks, so any cash that was given to us by customers must be carried around on us till the end of our shift. This was majorly annoying, as it would mean that I needed to walk around with jingling coins in my apron for the next couple of hours, and most likely have to take all these coins home with me. I ended up getting about $30 in just coins, and not a penny extra was spent on a tip. In fact, after signing all of those receipts, not a single one of those people at that table left me a tip. The next time these girls came in, they came in as a group of 4. Once again, they were a pain to deal with, and again, they paid me with coins. This time, I told them that per restaurant policy, they needed to count the coins for me, so they all sat there for quite a while, counting out their pennies and nickels to make sure it covered their bill. And guess what? Once again, they didn't leave a tip. The next time they came in, I really wasn't having it. No more kids meals. I went against what the manager had told me about the kids meal and told them that I was unable to put them on the kids meal as they were only allowed for kids 10 and under. They were pretty mad and decided to just all get sides and appetizers instead. Again, they paid me in coins just like the last 2 times, and they once again left no tip. It was at that point that I started to do some digging. One of the girls was wearing a sweatshirt from the local high school sports team, so I went on Instagram to find out more. Lo and behold, every single one of those girls was on that sports team, and their faces were plastered all over the team's Instagram account with all of their names. Then I had a major breakthrough. There was a girl that I had met a couple of times through mutual friends that also attended that high school and played some sort of sport there, so I decided to text her just to see if she knew these girls at all. I wasn't even really looking for answers. I was mostly just looking to gossip. Come to find out, she's actually their assistant coach. Once I told her everything about these girls and how they've been a complete nightmare to serve to, she was absolutely livid. She told me that she'll talk with him about it, despite me asking her multiple times not to do so, as I didn't want to cause any actual drama between these girls and their assistant coach. A few weeks go by and all the servers were thinking those girls got embarrassed for their behavior, so they weren't coming back in. But we must have jinxed it because they did come back in. Once again, I was their server, and when they all tried to order kids meals, I told them again that we were not able to sell them that as they were over the age of 10. They got regular adult meals this time and all paid with cards, of course, with no tips. Here's the worst part about it all. Next time I went to work, which was a few days later, the managers are looking at me funny. During my shift, I find out from the grapevine that apparently some teenage girls called the restaurant a few days prior and told the manager and the owner that the girl who served them was a well-known girl on OnlyFans, and that they were disgusted to be served by someone like her, and that they will never be back there again, as it completely goes against the family restaurant vibe that we have. At this point, I was seeing red. None of the other employees knew that they were possibly referring to me, but the managers knew, and the word gets around very quickly there. And for the record, I do not do OnlyFans, nor have I ever done that in my life. I knew it had to be one of those girls. This mysterious caller called on the day that I served them, most likely because I stopped giving into their requests of getting a burger with a side of fries and a drink for $6, as well as them paying with coins and not tipping me. Clearly, they were mad that I told their coach about it, and even more mad that I wouldn't sell them this stupid kids meal when they came back in after that. When my manager talked to me, I kind of blurted out that whatever the girl said about me isn't true. The manager was laughing and asking why I thought the call was about me, and when I explained everything to them, they agreed that my theory was definitely the reason for their call. Apparently, after the caller told them all of this awful information, the manager shut it down quickly and told the girls that it isn't anyone's business what the servers do on their own time outside of this job, and that no one would be getting in trouble over this. Thankfully, the manager was on my side about this, even when they thought it was true, but the girls ended up never coming back after that ever again. How crazy do you have to be to make that kind of accusation against someone just because you couldn't weasel some kind of $6 meal out of this restaurant? You have to be a low form of human being to try and do that. Good for this manager for standing up for this employee and saying, you know what, they didn't do this and it's none of your business if they did. The original poster goes on to say that they no longer work there anymore, and honestly, that's probably for the best, because that job sounds like an absolute nightmare, and I cannot imagine having to deal with anything like that. My best friend is always gaslighting and making up previous situations that we have been in, and it's starting to bother and really put a wedge in my life, and I don't know what to do. I have a best friend that we will call Amy. That's not her real name. We've been best friends for 10 years. We went through college together, weddings, etc. The past year or so, I've noticed that she would get a lot of details wrong regarding conversations and interactions that we've had, as well as things that I've told her, and a lot of misinterpretations of my reactions. At first, I thought it was me, and that I needed to do a better job communicating and picking and choosing what words I use when we are engaging in conversations. But then it got to a point where she would tell me I said something that made her feel badly, and I know for a fact that I never said those things at all. And I know for a fact that I didn't because, for one, I'm not under the influence or anything like that when we hang out, and I also would never say those things because I don't even think in the way that she's explaining. Without getting into too many giveaway specifics, it'll be things like we are talking about a situation with my in-laws, and I say something like, yeah, Jen is really not happy with her husband right now, and I feel sorry that she has to go through that. Then, months later, Amy will try and tell me that she felt like I was judging her relationship because apparently she thinks that I said that she doesn't have enough romance between her and her husband. This threw me off completely because that conversation that she's referring to had nothing to do with her, and the conclusion that she drew from it is not an opinion I have ever held, nor have I ever or will ever care to make a judgment of, because I don't believe it's up to me to judge if someone else's relationship is romantic enough. Furthermore, in the story I was talking to her about, I specifically stated that everything that had happened with Jen came from her telling me directly, not from me extrapolating as an outsider. I really didn't know how to react, and was literally speechless for a moment before saying that I am sorry if I came off as judgmental, but the conversation wasn't about her, and that she may be mixing up different conversations. I told her that I did not judge her marriage, and have never had an opinion about it other than being happy that she is happy. But after I said that, she just blew me off, and said that she shouldn't have said anything, and that it wasn't a big deal. Fast forward, and we went on several small and big vacations together throughout the year, and she would often be upset afterwards, and tell me it was because she felt like I was so over the places that we went to, and didn't want to be there, and didn't have a good time. During the trips, she would blow me off if I offered ideas as to what to do when we were at a standstill, or if I asked if she wanted to do something on her bucket list, as I was just trying to do my very best to make sure we were both comfortable with our plans. So we usually just ended up doing whatever she liked, which was also fine with me because, socially speaking, I'm very go with the flow, and as long as I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm content. So when she would tell me that she was upset by how she perceived my behavior behavior to be, I'd ask her to please give me some examples, because looking back, I was happy and felt fine. She would dodge answering the questions and just say that it's besides the point. I always end up acknowledging that her feelings were hurt and that I am sorry and I didn't intend to be hurtful or inconsiderate, but I also walk away feeling confused and unable to truly reflect on what I did wrong or how I can be better. It's gotten to the point of creating a lot of anxiety for me when I know we are going to be hanging out soon. This even happened at a holiday dinner party her in-laws hosted. My husband and I were invited, along with some mutual friends and our parents and in-laws. None of the parents and in-laws are close and only know each other through our marriages, as well as some wedding events and other activities. Amy told my parents that the dinner party was my idea and that I had been trying to plan it somewhere else, but things were just not working out. So her in-laws offered up their place instead so that it would work out. Again, I was speechless when I heard this because I was absolutely not planning a holiday dinner party at all. I had never told anyone I had an idea because I didn't want to host one, and it was just untrue overall. Furthermore, it made no sense that I would come to her in-laws, whom I have no relationship with, to ask them to host at their home. These situations go on and on and on, and I honestly just need help. I am a very self-aware person, and I reflect a lot on my actions and behaviors. So if I do something wrong, I'm not offended if someone calls me out on it. Amy has been in manipulative and borderline abusive relationships before, and thus being gaslight is a huge concern. I am so careful about how I approach conflicts with her because I don't want her to feel like she is being gaslit. However, I'm at such an impasse now because her memory is so bad to the point of delusions and believing something was said or something that had happened that never happened when there's no plausibility or logical sense of it happening. I'm extremely frustrated because of this, but also because she then draws from these false memories to attack my character, and I have no idea how to defend myself or straight up say, I understand why something like that would be upsetting to you, but what you are saying that happened didn't actually happen. And I don't know what to do or how to say that without her accusing me of gaslighting her. What should I do? The fact that she's manipulating you and twisting the truth, as well as spinning past events to try and favor her side and make her the victim and you the enemy, is a big red flag to me. This is a conscious choice, and at this point, it seems like she's doing this on purpose, which is entirely unfair for you, and not something that I would put up with for a second. So I think being honest with her in a nice way would go a long way with you still maintaining your friendship with her. If you really are friends, then you can be honest with each other and tell her the truth about how you feel, because she is continuously twisting the truth and changing what actually happened into something that didn't, and that honestly is not fair for you at all. My girlfriend has a disdain and general hate for everybody that she meets, and it's starting to drive a wedge in our relationship, and I don't know what to do. I've been with my girlfriend for almost 2 years now, but lately things have been kind of difficult between us. She hates everyone, and I mean literally anyone. She can't stand my friends, even though she only saw them twice, and they literally did nothing towards her. Besides greeting her, they really had no interaction at all. I think she also dislikes one of my cousins, even though he was very polite towards her, and they even laughed together a bunch of times. She met my other cousin and her boyfriend once, but after that one time, she said that she would have never wanted to see them again, and indeed, it never happened a second time. She also doesn't want to know new people because she always says that people are trash and that giving them a chance is not worth it. She also hates my mother, although I kind of understand why, since my mother can really be a jerk sometimes. In fact, she tried to sabotage our relationship in its first 3 months, despite the fact that she knew nothing about my girlfriend. My girlfriend has had only 2 friends, but she always says bad things about them, like mentioning that they are stupid or that they always talk about the same things. I have been in Discord calls with one of them along with her, and honestly, they don't seem that bad to me. She was bullied in the past, and she also has a horrible relationship with her father, and maybe these things can be the root of everything, but I've heard of people who have been through similar situations, and none of them started hating everyone like she does. She suffers from some sort of social anxiety, but she also says that she just hates people, and that's why she doesn't want to be with anyone except me. What am I supposed to do here? Should I keep going or should I break up with her? The thought of doing that really ruins me inside, because with me she is super sweet and nice, but I really don't know if this can keep going, and I don't know if this is the best thing for the both of us, so I'm honestly not sure what to do. I am honestly amazed that the original poster has lasted 2 years with his girlfriend. To be around someone that negative who literally hates everyone someone no matter what, without giving them any kind of chance to be on their good side, or anything along those lines, has got to be exhausting. I mean, she is literally resentful of everybody, across the board. That's a level of distrust and distaste towards mankind that I don't think I've ever seen in my life, not realistically at least. I personally would want to know how the original poster is feeling about all this. They can't possibly be sunshine and rainbows, after being around someone who is so dark and disturbing all the time. I mean, sure, there might be people that you don't like in life. There might be people that get on your nerves or somehow make you unhappy. But that can't be everybody, right? Like, there's gotta be some silver linings here. The biggest evidence of that is the fact that she has a boyfriend in the first place. She clearly likes at least one person, right? Or is she faking that as well? I'm not sure who may have disturbed her peace in the past that made her come to this point in her life where she hates everybody, but that is definitely something she needs to work on. And that is a massive red flag in my opinion. And it looks like after 2 years, I don't think this is ever gonna change. If anything, the older you two get, the worse this might become. So I think for your own peace of mind, it might be time to sit her down and have a serious talk about this, because I can't imagine being in a relationship with someone for 2 years and anybody that you meet is never gonna be good enough. That sounds miserable, and that does not sound like a healthy relationship. My girlfriend found out about my sketchy past, and now I'm afraid that she might break up with me and I don't know what to do. So I've been dating my girlfriend for a couple of years now. It has been a really awesome and healthy relationship, and I feel very strongly that she is someone I can see myself spending the rest of my life with. Now, for context for what I'm about to say, before getting into this relationship, I had never been in a relationship or had any experience of intimacy ever with a woman before. I had also been rejected in some really bad ways growing up, and as a result became a really bitter and frankly hate-filled person. As a result, I became someone who would lurk around and spend time online in forums and subreddits, and found myself becoming attached to these really hateful and misogynistic ideologies. I spent about a year or two in these spaces online when I was 18 and 19 years old, before slowly starting to realize I was suffering from depression and using my loneliness as an excuse to blame women and be a person I didn't want to be in a really hateful and bad way. I started going to therapy and detaching myself from this and trying to become a better person, and I can definitely say that I think I have achieved this. My relationship with my girlfriend that I have now, I honestly consider a testament to this. I feel like I've changed. Now, this past weekend, my girlfriend and I were under the influence and playing a drinking game together, and we played a game of truth or dare. When it was my turn of truth, I revealed that I was once one of these people years ago, but I grew out of it. My girlfriend was taken back by it, but we were also drunk and not privy to arguing about it. A few days later, though, my girlfriend circles back to this and tells me how disgusted she was by the thought that she's in a relationship with someone as vile as that. I told her that yes, I had vile views about women at one point, and I am ashamed of that, but now I have become a much better person since then, and that she has helped me become a person that I aspire to be, and that is honestly what matters to me. She said that this is a cop-out, and that this is something that I should have thought about or told her about at some point. I told her I was sorry, but that I didn't ever want that to come up because of how ashamed I was of it. We haven't talked for a day or two since. Now, I don't blame my girlfriend for being upset at the thought that I once was one of these guys, but I also pride myself on how I have changed and become a much better person. I hope this is something she doesn't hold so strongly against me, and that she knows me well enough to know that I'm not that guy anymore, and that I would take it all back if I could and had the chance. But can we move forward from this? I plan on going over to my girlfriend's house tomorrow to discuss this, but I need to know how I can even approach this. What should I do? I honestly don't think there's much you can do at this point. I mean, you told her the truth about it, and the ball is literally in her court to try and accept this and move on. From the sounds of it, your relationship was fantastic up to this point, and it seems like this is the only thing that's really throwing a wrench in the wheel for your girlfriend. It's not like you've changed overnight. If anything, you worked on yourself and you became a better person. So it seems a little silly to hold something against somebody when they have clearly changed as a human being. It's counterintuitive, in my opinion, to hold something against your significant other that you not only were not there for, but you also don't know all the details involving it. I mean, I'm sure your girlfriend has done some things in the past that probably would really offend you and make you think less of her. And I'm sure she's probably gotten over some of those things and wouldn't want other people to judge her based on who she once was, but rather who she is today. And I think you deserve that same right as someone who has grown and seen the error of their ways. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And the next time you you live stream, use the cream of the crop music. Search Cream of the Stream on Spotify or whatever platform you use for copyright-free music to use for your next stream.